happened 10, 15 years ago, then we would have responded. Everybody was saying, Dad, you said this, and I said, that was then. But when the people would come, you would do this and that. I said, that was then. That was then. That ain't now. So, in order to be example, okay, I'm going to say what we are is we are a modern example of what has to be done, what can be done, and what should be done. And by who? By us. So we are a modern living example. Like if Martin Luther King was an example of nonviolence. Well, we are a modern example of nonviolence. Yep. Because we did not respond at all in the way that they expected.
Even when you had people approaching you.
It's nothing. Everybody, look, if we wanted to do something.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
If we wanted to do something, there's no like, oh, I gotta go find somebody to do this. No, it's like,
no. That's what I was trying to say, yeah.
Not only that, the government had the people there ready to do it.
Right, yeah.
So, like,
fall too.
If it's like 8 groups ready to do something, 5 of them are the government groups. 3 of them would be mine. All they want is you to do it. Yeah. And everybody is encouraging you to follow that principle. That's not the principle. What I'm telling you is our Daesh is right there. That's who our Daesh is. That's who our ISIL is. Those people. Yeah. We whooped their behind by neutralizing. You see that everybody is chasing us, trying to get us and just looking idiotic, stupid, and every other kind of thing, trying to influence our behavior. That means that they cannot influence our behavior. They have not been able to influence our behavior. They have lost, hands down. We have won this section, these periods, without even batting an eye. We have won. They have, and you got to remember when I say they, that means all of they. It ain't just the fools, I mean not the fools, they're not fools, they just need help. Those people, failed. Abdul Malik them failed miserably. The people here, monitors, failed. I mean, it is a visible disaster. Everybody failed. That has not happened in United States history. No. Okay. Just pick anybody out of the box. Pick Martin Luther King, pick Malcolm, pick anybody you can. The government didn't fail on them. The government was a success. The government was a success even on King, because King was the despondent in his last years. He was despondent.
Yeah.
He was sad. He was sad. He was sad because the numbers and the people, when you have that many people giving you adulation and cooperating with you, you know you're going to get something done. Okay, when you don't get nothing done, you're sad. For us, it's different. We are not newspaper Negroes. Out of all the groups and all the movements, there's no one in the United States or outside the United States that have contributed more to the black movement and the Islamic movement in America. Nobody has. Not even close. Not even close. The New York blah, blah, blah people? No. Care? No. The people down in Texas? No. The African American groups, movements, and organizations? No. The Islamic organizations out there that have, last number was 28 satellites.
Right. Yeah.
With people stumbling, well, when they start back east, the people are collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars at Eid, and they haven't done nothing. And everybody know they haven't done nothing, right? We've had more influence, and let me see, because I always, I wrote something down here. Yes, on page 1, where it says 5406.
Yep.
Counterattack, but it has depend on Allah. What I deal with is a pleasure. Then I skip down, acts forgiveness for mentioning self. In other words, these are all notes to myself. So I'm aware that I'm going through a period I'm talking about myself. Why? Hell, I ain't nobody else to talk about. And if I said anything different, it wouldn't be the truth, right? So I'm just asking Allah for forgiveness. And the community, when they would finally read it, which is now, for mentioning self. And also compensate for sensitivity. Compensate for paranoia. Paranoia. I have sensitivity really, so I have to compensate. This is self-management, this is directing your own self. That's what this stuff is. I have to compensate. Sensitivity, paranoia runs people crazy. So I have to compensate. Say, I've done all this stuff before. This is 14 years ago. By that time, I'm a super veteran. I mean, it's child's play by then. Yeah, it's child's play by, 14 years ago, it's child's play. There's no surprises at all. So I'm saying, I'm writing messages to myself, what I have to do, compensate for sensitivity. And I have in parentheses, paranoia, right? Yep. The rules are, you're not going to have any friends, you're not going to have any this, you're not going to have any that. And the rules are this, is that any and everybody around you are going to be government agents, which it proves that's the way it is. That's the way it's been. The Masjid be full of people. We have, I don't know how many groups and zillions of people. And then they're gone. Boop. Okay, you got to be ready for all of that. Why? Because you know that's what they're going to do. Why? Because that's what they think is going to be effective. And they think, oh, you're going to be sad. You're going to be very popular, and everybody's going to listen to you, and Allahu Akbar and everything, and then ain't nobody going to listen to you. They're going to walk away. And just be standing right there waving. See y'all later. Thank you very much. Strategic management under conditions of repression. What does that mean? This is maybe 2008, something like that. That's a long time ago. That's 12 years ago. That means I have to make use.
Right.
Strategic management under conditions of repression. We're not doing, well, we do some of that now, but that's not the period for that. That was then. Strategic management under conditions of repression. How are we going to manage all of this stuff? By that time, school here, school in California, acquisition of property, going over here, going over there, right. And all of a sudden, whoop, nothing. And at the same time, they're making the people that are right next to you, they're flattering them, and they're the ones that, and of course, but you're not going to say, or you guys are like teenagers, you smell the milk on your breath. How you gonna be a champion, you never had a fight? You know, you write that down, but you don't ever say that to nobody. You say you guys are children. Why are they children? The proof is they can't produce nothing. They can't make you do nothing. This is the thing. They just now look at it. You have to visualize that the whole system is focused on you. You know it. That's why we write compensate for sensitivity. That means you have to compensate. You might even go overboard. You might be extra friendly and extra kind because you know who they are.
I hear what you're saying, yeah.
So you have to do things kindness so much that they might think you're stupid. That's part of the trick too. That's part of it.
Right.
You got to be able, in order to do this stuff the way we do it, you have to be able to be laughed at, made fun of. You can't be like no, you know, you gotta sit there and everybody's laughing and everybody's on the same team. You gotta be able to go in a meeting and everybody's on the same team. And everybody's gonna talk right around you. You just have to sit there. And they do that. They might do that all the time. They might, if we have a meeting here, right back there, for manna, they may talk all around you, and just because it's our Masjid and everything, you might think you get a chance to talk. They talk right around. Okay? And there's people here right now that know that we invite here for people for a big program, and the toilets overflow. They don't overflow, they ain't overflowed in 15 years, but they overflow in. And then you go down there, and then there's a, you know, they have those 20-ounce Coke bottles, plastic Coke bottles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you keep pumping, and one of them backs up, it's cut, the top is cut, and at first with the little hole in it, you know, a little water goes through, but then it blocks up, and you keep pumping. Pretty soon, right down there in that sink, it pops up. So you know somebody put that in there, and it's okay. But that's what they do. So that's why we have what we have for sensitivity. But we have ask forgiveness for mentioning self. Survivor, 67, 1970, 1973. Right? Explain how it strengthens your faith. So, we didn't give it a chance to explain it then, but we're explaining it now. All of that stuff strengthens your faith. Because if you're on a 100-story building and you just jump off and you just float somewhere and you land, right?
Right.
You couldn't do that. And you don't know nobody could do that, right? Only Allah could have your behind floating around and zoop, and you land like in a bed of roses. It's smelling good, looking good, right? You know, that's what I mean by strengthens your faith.
Yeah.
Everything that they've done throughout the years strengthens the faith. It don't weaken the faith. It strengthens the faith. The people that have maybe short-sightedness or what have you, they might lose focus on what's really going on, and it may cause their faith to dwindle a little. I have down there what this process would produce in a normal individual. What this stuff would produce in a normal person, right? Of course, right. They would run, nobody would get anywhere close. I mean, you got to remember, I'm watching this. I'm telling you that I'm studying the historical movement. You can tell by the way we talk that we have some familiarity with history. That don't mean we're going to say, well, Malcolm couldn't do this, King couldn't do that. No, but you still have to compare, like compare prices.
Yeah.
Well, you know, okay, how much that, it's the same car, same Volvo, it's on this lot, what did it cost over there? You gotta compare prices.
Yeah, you gotta, you know, like any athlete, you're gonna look at the records. You know.
No doubt about it.
You know, just
That's the key.
you just gonna look at the records, you know.
You have to study the records.
You know.
Who,
Yeah.
I mean, what type of race am I in? What
Right,
do I have to do
Yep.
to get up to par? What's the training routine, right?
Right, yeah.
How long is this race? How long am I going to be in this race? We always talk about longevity. Longevity means, you know, a long time. Other people, you can think about brownouts and blackouts. 4 or 5 years, you look at the people say on campus, they're full of juice, whether it's Nicaragua, whether it's Palestine, they're full of juice, right?
Yeah.
When they get ready to come out and get a job, that stuff starts fading behind. They're full of resumes, they're getting right, they gotta get a job now. All of that freedom and love and stuff, now you gotta work, right? This is common on any campus, you go there. So, it's common in the movement too, like people have a shelf life. Some people struggle for 5 years. Some people try it for 2 years. Some really that's doing a good job, they may make it 10 or 12 years. Then after that, they start settling down. They don't say, I quit, but their behavior shows. You know what I mean? It shows in their behavior. And if they're not studying themselves, they either won't see it or don't want to see it. But they won't face the challenges. We have friends that they could approach certain things in a certain way, they wouldn't approach it. Why? Because the people did them wrong, and they might have left them hungry, might have left their wife and family, you know. They didn't help them. Because in college, rah, 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 the team spirit. But if you come out of prison, you already know. Whatever you do, you're going to be there by yourself. Because after the riot, they're going to go find out who's the one leading that. They're going to gaffle them up and send them off to wherever they send people, right? That's what they do. So you already, if you've been in that environment, you already know. I'm telling you, we used to go to, the old name was Infirmary Park, it's now Bobby Hutton Park. And elders there would be speaking, bow to the people, and I would tell my crew, we would be there. I said, I hope they don't think the people are going to be with them when the white man come. We would just say that. When the white man come, people are going to be gone. That's just, those are the rules. It's not, you always look around. You could be part of a union and your job is to stand up to the bosses, and you stand up and say, and you look around, and isn't that right, fellas? They look all up in the air. So then you're the one that made the commitment. That's the rules of life. You can't get mad at human beings for being human beings. That's what I told my son. I said, if you kill every nigga for being a nigga, you're gonna kill everybody, because everybody's niggas. White folks is niggas, they all niggas. Right? Arab niggas, everybody's just niggas. Human beings, right? You can't stop that. I say you cannot stop people. You have to love humanity, but you have to look out for yourself too. You have to. If you don't, you can't offer nobody. You can't give nobody something that you don't have. So you have to have self-leadership before you can have group leadership. You have to be able to lead yourself. So that's what we're talking about here. Okay. So with someone your own size, okay, reissue call to bigness. This is the language of big niggas and little niggas. It's just the language. It's not, you don't say you're a little nigga and I'm a big nigga. You don't say that. But there are people who are big. What make them big? Ethics. That's it. Vision, ethics, and all that stuff make people big. No ethics, no vision, no nothing, just getting a little something for yourself, you're going to be little. That's what make people ethics and morals. That's what make people big. Big. In the game even. They had people that started out at a certain level and they evolved. They became big. They surprised a lot of people. They became like what used to call big niggas. They got big because when the time came, they acted big. And they didn't buckle. It took 5 or 10 years for the system to break them down and to turn them into tattletales and stuff. But they stuck. They went to the prison house and they was big. Okay, the system chews people up and spits them out. Like right now, when we go back to California, technically I'm going to help all of my family and most of my friends when we get whatever we get from the government. And that's what I'm going back to do. I'm going back now to institute or to benefit from everything we've arranged. We have not been on anybody's time schedule. That's why I say we came here almost a year ago. I was going to go back in January. Just stay, because we're not on their schedule. Do you know how big that is? That can't nobody make you do nothing in no time? That is big. That means you have, hey man, imagine how people would feel if they had all of their time to do what they wanted to do. I mean, I realized that I was going with one of my friends, driving across the bay, you know. In fact, we went 3 bridges right. Went to Bay Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, San Rafael Bridge. And so he looked at me,